No Rest for the Weekend's coverage of the Tribeca Film Festival is sponsored by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com.
This is based on my personal story of how I became a father down in Argentina. Kyle reached out to me during the pandemic. It was his idea to make a TV show with that premise.
Sean and I have a lot of history. We go way back. We were friends in college. We actually met studying abroad in Madrid, in Spain. Came back, we were at USC together. And so, yeah, we've just been friends for a very long time. And I remember this time in college, everybody's donating sperm, trying to stay afloat, all this stuff. And the results for his was like, the swimmers, they're just not there. You know, try it again, it's just not going to happen. So, you know, it's just like a thing that happens, and then everybody moved on. And yeah, I really distinctly remember years later him calling and saying that there's this young woman, you know, and she's saying that she's pregnant and it's mine, and that can't be. I mean, I think I was the one that's like, that can't be. You can't. You're sterile. Like, it's fine. But we just know that. And so it was this big mystery. I just kind of remember living vicariously as he's going down to the bottom of the earth to go and see if this is true or not. And he had his other reasons too, which we kind of melded into the story. But I just thought there was something there, you know, something, there's like a really interesting conceit, very much like a knocked up, relatable rom-com, but then also some like deeper personal pathos-y stuff. And so we really just mined Sean's real life and the real story, but then also with the consent of the mother, was very involved as well. So it really worked out.
I do believe that Yanqui is accessible because we enter Argentina through the point of someone that's never been there before, right? Josh, our protagonist, he's never traveled to Argentina. And so I think viewers will have fun being on that journey with him and running into this kind of awkward introduction to a language and a people he doesn't understand.
The cast in the world of Yanqui, we've really drawn it out. Like Sean mentioned earlier, this was a COVID baby, like some of the best projects have been. And so aside from just kind of crafting a pilot, we thought about the entire season one and bigger than that. So we really see it as kind of like this two-hander where Josh and Sophia are very much co-leads in the series, but also this eclectic cast of characters, this ensemble of characters.
Josh is coming from his basement apartment in Brooklyn, you know, so I think this part of this show will be a New York, Buenos Aires show too. So Argentines have watched it, you know, down there when we showed it, and they love it. They love seeing Argentina through the lens of Josh and through the lens of a North American who doesn't, you know, understand the culture. But we'll also have New York as a part of it, so Latin Americans can see that.
No, I mean, I think a big thrust of the show is experiencing Argentina through Josh's eyes as a Yanqui, as a foreigner. It's a fish out of water story. And Sean and I, again, we've both lived in Argentina and lived with families there, so very, very easy to just remember what that felt like to experience everything for the first time. And I think for the Argentinian crowd, like, they're exposed to the U.S. nonstop. I mean, especially coming from New York, like, they know the city, they know all the stuff. There's this interesting love, I don't want to say love-hate, but there's just an interesting relationship between Argentina, Buenos Aires, and the U.S. and New York. Sometimes we think there's like a secret love affair. I think what I'm most excited about, and something that we worked really hard at, is that I think Argentinians are really going to feel seen. There's not a lot of stuff out there about Argentina. Historically, since Evita, Argentina in 1985, recently for the Oscars, but there's just not a lot of White Lotus-y type stuff. Everybody knows Mexican content and Spanish content, but I think that's what's going to be really fresh and original about Yanqui, is that, yeah, American viewers especially are going to get to travel to Argentina every episode. So filming in Argentina was, for the most part, a delight. The crew was so committed, especially because they knew the story, and they felt really represented in the storytelling. So tons of passion, very welcoming. Like, I live in Los Angeles and have, you know, film there all the time, where everything is a permit, everything's $1 million, you know, all the unions, all the stuff. Argentina, not the case necessarily. They have a thriving industry. It was really, really great, and I think everybody's just very curious too, and maybe a little bit just careful too, like, is the telling of our story in these Yanquis, because we are the Yanquis, is it going to hold up? And everybody in our crew, I think the answer is yes.
Living down in Argentina and seeing that they have such a vibrant theater and film and television industry, and their television and film actors are regularly in theater productions, you know, and so I think it was nice, like it was more accessible to reach them, and they also have an interest in being in a show for American audiences. So, you know, that was some of how we found our actors, like going to plays and like seeing someone in, and that kind of accessibility and joy for the project made it possible for us to make this ourselves.
Pilot has some of the biggest talent in Argentina in it. We're crazy fortunate. Like the lead is Delfina Chavez, very, very well known in Argentina. Her sister is one of the most famous models in Argentina. The taxi driver, that's a cameo from this guy named Sebastian Weinreich. He's like the Jerry Seinfeld of Argentina. He has a show called Almost Happy or Casi Feliz on Netflix, 2 seasons. Luis Zimbrowski, who plays the kind of eccentric father. We have some heavy hitters that were willing to come out for this. So yeah, we were just super fortunate in that way.
We worked with a fantastic casting director based in LA, Jamie Castro, and we sent out the casting notice, and she brought all these amazing people to us. And I think it wasn't like the idea was never, at least for me, to try to find someone that was similar to me at all, right? And then there were actors that we almost went with that were a completely different take on the character. But I think Rowan, the first scene that we sent out for auditions was a more comedic one. It's the opening one. He gets into some antics there. And then the callback scene was the more dramatic one at the end. And Rowan just hit both. He could do both of those tones so well. And I think ultimately that was part of it. We also watched a short that he did. Rowan is also a talented writer and director. And he produced a short called Marcia with his brother. And it was hilarious. And we saw that and we're like, this is the guy. But it really wasn't about finding someone that could be like me, because by that point Josh was his own character, I think.
Rowan Kahn is our lead. We were really looking for someone that has that leading man vibe, because he is going to carry the show as the protagonist, but also needs to be super everyman, very relatable, very blue collar, very and just like a huge heart. I think also because one of the things that we do in the pilot and the series is that we kind of flip the socioeconomic stereotype, whereas you have the rich Americans and going to some South, it's the opposite. You know, our protagonist is on his last dime working at a cat shelter, but because he has big beliefs, he's not really about making money. And then this woman that becomes entangled with over this pregnancy, they're like the Kennedys of Argentina with a lot of expectation and a lot of money. So we really needed someone, Rowan, that I think that viewers can relate to, but also swoon after. He can be kind of like a little bit awkward, but then also sexy at the same time. And I think more than anything else, it's a romance, right? It's a romance, and we just really need people to be on board for the Josh and Sophia love story.
It's such an honor, and to be at Tribeca and be invited here and to be chosen, to be one of the few chosen. It was a great surprise. We've had an amazing time being here and meeting fellow creators and other people in the industry. And it was awesome coming back to New York, because I left New York because of this story. Right. And being able to come back to tell the story in a New York movie theater was awesome.
Tribeca has always been one of my favorite film festivals. I think it is for a lot of people, specifically the fact that they have this indie episodic showcase now. Like we're a part of that now showcase, and it's just, I feel like it's where the industry is going or should be going. And so Tribeca has been so supportive, and so much like the wind in our sails, where we've had this creators market. We've been pitching the show to development companies, meeting other episodic creators, and it really was the perfect place for Yanqui to world premiere.
This is the BTRP Media Network.